Hey guys, what's happening? Back with another stream, this time back in FSEconomy. This is FSEconomy number 14. Been a while since I've done one, and looking forward to getting on to a pretty cool trip with the SR20, one of my favorite planes, vFlyteAir's SR20. Fun little plane to fly, 3 passengers in FSEconomy, so not a lot of money to be made, but still a lot of fun to fly. And there's a new feature of this plane. The MFD's got a terrain and topology mapping using terrain radar. vFlyteAir has integrated that, so it gives you a little bit of extra realism in the cockpit, and they're going to be using that today. So in any event, let's get right to it. Take a look at the plan for the day. So we're in Van Nuys, California, KVNY. We're going to be heading to Yucca Valley, L22. We got 3 passengers. Again, $2,500 to make, so not a lot. We're in the Cirrus SR20. Right now I've got 340,000. Pardon me. So doing okay. Haven't really flown a lot lately, but still have a chunk of change there, trying to build that up. As far as the flight plan, so we're going to try to avert some of these higher terrain areas. So we're going to be spinning around these a little bit. We'll be flying about 6,000, I think. And 110 nautical miles, so this is the route we're going to take. So we'll get some nice views of the California mountains. I am using Ortho 4XP in this area, so get some nice views of the California mountains, which should be nice. So let's take a look at gas. So we've got 3 people. We're going to just call it a 120 miles. So we'll need a minimum of 8 gallons. We got 23. I'm just going to top it off. What the hell? A little bit of reserve. I'll go 35 gallons. Not that expensive. So that way we know we have enough gas. All right. And that's going to be about it. Right. So that's the plan. I do have this flight plan. I downloaded it from SkyVector and uploaded into X-Plane. So we'll load that up once we get inside the plane, and we'll be good to go. So anyway, that's that, and we need to start this puppy up and get in the air. So appreciate you guys joining. Let me know if you have any questions. While I'm in VR, I can't see the chat very well. I can't see it at all, actually. So it's going to be tough for me to read chat. But once I get in the air and we get flying, then I'll be sure to check chat out. So let's get inside this beautiful plane and get this thing started up. You can see I've got the Bambino Games livery going here. Like nice colors, 328 Tango Delta. I am using X-Plane Realistic XP Realistic Pro, I think it's called, which gives you some of the airplane noises and background and stuff like that. All right, here we are inside the cockpit. Cold and dark. Bambino logo there. Let's open up this door here. Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. Open up this door. Get some air inside the cabin. All right. So pretty simple procedure to start this puppy up. So when I get our batteries on. Okay, those are good to go. We're going to get the mixture in, and we'll put our throttle to 25%. Clear prop. Hopefully everybody heard us there, and we'll start this baby up. And there we go. Okay, nice easy start, clean start. Sounding pretty good. Bring that back to idle. We're gonna let the engine warm up. We'll get our alternator 1 on, alternator 2, turn on avionics, and hit this button here, and we should get our topology map loaded right there. Beautiful. And you can see that. Let's see, what do we got here? Oh, we got terrain too. I didn't realize you could do that with that. You can hit the terrain button too. Let's go with topology. Okay. And let's see, let's get our flight plan loaded. So we're going to go, I got this right here. And there we go, our flight plan's in. We want to set this to, set our CDI over here to GPS. So now we got our flight plan up here, our first waypoint, 35 nautical miles. I like to put the nearest airport inset in there, and this inset here doesn't show the topology map of the inset, but that's okay. We'll declare this a little bit, just so I have that in front of me there, and that's easier to see. So we're going to set our altimeter at 6,000. That's where we want to fly once we get up there. We're close to it. That's good. And that should be it, man. That should be it. We just gotta let the engine warm up here. I'm not sure why can't I look at engine anymore here. Where's the engine button? That's weird. Oh, I know. Back. There we go. Back. Map. Oh, back. Oh, topology didn't kick in there. That's weird. All right, let's see. Let's make sure everything's cool there, which it is. Okay, we got our topology there. We just have to remember to go back if we want to look at the engine. But we have enough information here to tell us what's going on with the engine. Cool. All right, so we're pretty much good to go here. I want to make sure I remember to load up FSEconomy. Let's just check out the outside of the airplane. There we go. See me sitting there. It's not me, really, but person sitting in the cockpit. This is one thing with flying inside. Oops. Damn. Okay. What I was going to say is the cursor, the mouse cursor, you got to, like, sometimes it gets messed up and you have to reset the view and stuff, the centering. Anyway, so we're good to go now. Get our door closed. We don't want that open while we are flying. Things will start to quiet up a little bit. So how we doing on the temperature? Let's just see. All right, we're getting up there. All right, cool. Yeah, just it takes a little bit of time for the topology map to load in, but see our frames there. We're not getting great frame rates. I'm not sure why, but it is what it is. So it just happens with X-planes. Sometimes you get the shitty frame rates with third-party planes. Sometimes I'll get 30 frame rates per second. It really depends on where you are. So in any event, I'm going to get FSEconomy loaded up here. Load in my task, or I should say assignment. You guys can't see this. Logged in, start. Okay, boom. I got my assignments in there. And how much gas we got? All right, we're good on gas. Okay, so we get our flap. We'll set our flaps to first position. I think we're ready to taxi and head on out to Yucca Valley. All right, cool. And here we go. Now, I did increase the graphics density in FlyInside. I've got it on a higher density just to give me better graphics. So that's one of the reasons why I'm seeing lower frame rates. But yeah, usually I get a little better than 17 frames per second in this plane, but who knows? Okay, so we assume we have clearance from the tower. You can hear the XP Realistic. You guys might not be able to hear, but I can hear like the shocks and squeaking and stuff. And there's definitely a little bit of bobbing of the plane as I move along here into the runway. Okay. Good to go. Just one last check. Make sure everything's cool. So we're going to take off, and then we're going to head to the east, right? Here we go. Full throttle, brakes released. A little bit of right rudder to keep things centered. $50 knots. 65 is our number. And rotate. Get up to 80 knots. We can pull the flaps up. There we go. We're gonna fly to the end of the runway, and then we'll hang our left. Van Nuys, there's a lot of autogen here at Van Nuys. That could be why getting shitty frame rates, but. We could turn here. Gonna climb up to 6,000. It is nice having that topographical there. Everything looking good. Good climb rate. Well, I guess I should have turned on some lights, right? Well, my nav lights, my strobe lights. That's going to be about it. Should have turned those on before. Got a few things to talk about today. Once we get to altitude, we'll talk about those. It is nice. It's much nicer having that topographical view there rather than just a black screen. Just for like, even just immersion. It's just cooler to have. Flying over Van Nuys. Oops. I'm not sure what the optimal speed is for airspeed is for climbing in this plane. I'd imagine, I mean, the Cessna, it's 172 is about 80 knots. I'd imagine this is like about 100 knots. I'm taking a wild ass guess. Maybe it's 90, not sure. Have to look that up. But we are gaining speed, and I'm at 105 knots. I'm climbing at about 400 feet per minute, 500 feet per minute. Just trying to keep things on that angle. Coming up to 3,000. So while we are climbing, I mean, I have to say, my God, what a horrible thing that happened this past week. It was in Las Vegas. Just thoughts and prayers with anybody that was involved in that horrible event, and you know, you just hope that the people that were involved can heal from it, can heal from that terrible tragedy, and that you know, something like that, you know, never happens again. It's a shame that we're in this day and age where those types of things can happen, but my God, it was horrifying just to even hear what happened, and the first few minutes of getting the facts. It was really devastating to me and pretty much everybody that I know. So thoughts and prayers again with all those people. And I don't want to really talk about the politics of it or even the facts of it. I think there's still so many things that they're trying to figure out. You know, the authorities are trying to figure out that it takes time in those types of things to gather everything, put pieces together, and try to make sense of something that's so senseless. I'm not sure if you ever will be able to make sense of it, but I think right now they're trying to figure out a motive, which is, I think the sheriff, Lombardo, I think his name is, said that he doesn't even know if they'll ever be able to come up with a motive. It's just unbelievable. But that's all I'm going to say about that. Thoughts and prayers to everybody involved in that horrible event, and hope everyone could heal from it as quickly as possible. Anyway, we're coming up to 4,200 and climbing our way to 6,000. Just hand flying here. Yeah, the Ortho 4XP in California is just awesome. Just awesome. Because all the mountains and hills of California, it just looks really cool. Alright, so we want to kind of trim this out now. We're up pretty high here. We could trim this out to start to lower the fuel consumption. And then once we get to altitude, I'll pull the throttle back. And we'll get our autopilot on, and then we'll be cruising. We're flying in VR using Oculus Rift and FlyInsideXP. Talk a little bit later about X-Plane's native VR. Saw a couple things about that this week. I want to talk about that. Talk about a few other things. But using Oculus Rift CV1. If you want to know the specs of my machine, my computer, you can check the description below. I always post the specs that I'm using, so you can see exactly what system I'm using there. So, all right, so we're coming up to 5,300, getting close to our ceiling. Again, it is nice to have that topographical view. We're looking at 5 nautical miles range, so that's nice to have. If anything, because if you're going to land in an airport, you want to know, what's around it and how to approach it, and that really does help you. So, you could do that obviously with a sectional chart, but it's nice not having to take off the headset to look at the sectional chart. It's right there in front of me, which is great. We're right there. All right, 5,600. And this plane will cruise at about 140 knots, so should be a pretty quick trip to Yucca Valley. All right, coming to 59. Get our autopilot ready to go here. We're going to want this on nav. Altitude hold at 6160, and that's working very nicely in the SR20 now since the last update. That was a big problem that I had with it, that the altitude hold didn't work properly. So they're doing much better with that. Don't make me a liar. Let's see. Let's hold this here. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're holding at. We're on our Jeep. We're getting to our flight vector here, and we're holding at 6168. We're starting to gain some airspeed here. I'm going to back off on the throttle a little bit, so we can reduce the fuel consumption. Still picking up speed. And I'm just backing off on the lean a little bit, just leaning out the engine a little bit. I want to fly a little faster than that. We got 60% power, and good to go. I'm right on the hairy edge of the lean there, so. Okay, good. Alrighty, so let's see. What did we want to talk about today? Well, status of the channel. Now, you guys who follow the channel, you know I've been trying to I usually try to put out 3 videos a week, and that's slowed down. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Things at work have gotten really hectic, so you know, obviously there's priorities in life, and work is one of them. So it's kind of cut into the time that I've been able to put into flying. In fact, this past week I really haven't flown much at all in X-Plane and VR, so this is the first time I'm getting to do that on a Saturday afternoon. So in any event, might just see 1 video or 2 videos a week for me, so it depends on how, you know, with workload and status and all that stuff. So we'll have to see how that goes. But rest assured that, you know, I'm still following what's going on in VR and what's going on in X-Plane, and certainly interested, and I'm not going to ever stop doing the channel. Just the flow of content might be a little bit slower for the time being, but we'll play that one by ear. Anyway, comments and suggestions are always welcome. Put them in the comments below, or whatever. Hit me on Twitter or hit me on Facebook, whatever you'd like to do. So anyway, that's kind of the reasons for the bit of a slowdown in content. So another big topic for me is baseball, and right now we're in the middle of playoff season, and the playoffs are raging on. I'm a Yankee fan. They're playing Cleveland. They've played 2 games. They've lost 2 games. They're going home now, 0-2, behind the 8 ball, back up against the wall. Not the optimal position, especially. I mean, the first game, you know, okay, your starter whiffs. Really, you know, Severino had some major problems, just couldn't get it going. I think it was nerves and adrenaline. The kid's like, was he 23 or 24? I think it was just nerves and adrenaline. First playoff, all that just got to him, and you know, unfortunately, it had to be a learning experience in the ALDS. But you know, that is what it is. But you know, the bullpen did the best they could. They lost the game. What can you do? It was a tough game. Both teams scrapped back and forth, at least the way I saw it. And you know, Santana had his problems too, so that one I'll chalk it up to the best team won that night. But last night was a completely different story. Here we are in the fifth inning, where the Yankees are up 8-3. Their CC is dealing, and Girardi takes him out. I don't know why. It's 72 pitches, I think, 75, maybe 75 pitches. I don't know why Girardi's taking him out. What is he taking him out for? He had no signs of faltering. He had no signs of losing his stuff. 75 pitches, let's call it. No, you got to let the guy go another inning. You have to let him go another inning before you hit the bullpen. Okay, so that was mistake number one. Mistake number two, the hit by pitch. My God, I got to tell you, when that happened, I'm watching the game and I'm saying to myself, why isn't he challenging this call? Why isn't he challenging this call? What do you have to lose? If you challenge and you lose, what do you have to lose? You have to do it. Just say challenge. Even if it doesn't come back as a turnover or a reversal, so what? Do it. Well, he says no. Even after his catcher tells him it's a foul tip. He's telling him it's a foul. The guy closest to what happened is telling him it's a foul tip. The other big, huge sign is that, I don't know about you, I watch a lot of baseball. If you watch baseball, what happens when someone gets hit with a 90-mile-per-hour pitch in the fingers? What does the batter do? Instantaneously, he'll take the hand off the bat and start shaking it. Right? Did that happen last night? Nope. He kept his hand on the bat, acted as if nothing ever happened, and trotted down to first base. It's the first indication that the guy wasn't hit. He never shook it off his hand. Now, someone like Jeter, I can remember him faking and him shaking his hand because he was a smart player. Even though it didn't hit him, he would fake it. But this guy didn't do that. He just put the bat down and walked. Clear sign that he was not hit by the pitch. In fact, even I put that on the umpire too. Okay? That's on the umpire too. Now, I know it's, in the moment and it happens in seconds and all that. But come on. You got to think about that. Okay? So, what happens then? And by the way, so Sanchez catches the foul pitch, foul tip. Yeah, Skywolf. I'm playing in VR. Yeah, I'm playing in VR. It's, I'm not playing. I'm flying in VR. It's Oculus Rift CV1 in FlyInside. So, yeah, it's amazing. But I'm telling a story about the Yankees. So, in any event, it's a foul tip, and of course, Sanchez catches it, which means the guy would have been out. It was third strike, right? Girardi doesn't review it. The guy goes to first. Base is loaded. What happens next batter? Boom. Grand slam. All of a sudden now the game's 8-7. Okay? And you can argue back and forth about what happened after that. After that, it was just a baseball game. Okay? But that mistake right there cost them. It's going to cost them the series. It's going to 100% cost them the series. So now we're in the post-game interview, and I'm watching Girardi, and they ask him about it. And you could see in his face, because he always flickers his eyes when he's like bullshitting. That's his tell. When Girardi's flickering his eyes, he's bullshitting, or he's pissed off about not having to answer the question. Okay, I kind of know tells a little bit. So, in any event, he starts flickering his eyes and says that, as a catcher, I think of it as disrupting the batter's rhythm. This is what he says is the reason why. Well, he said two things. They couldn't get the slow-mo fast enough, okay, which I don't understand. And then he said, as a catcher, I didn't want to disrupt the batter's rhythm. So let's think about that. Sorry, the pitcher's rhythm. So the pitcher just hit a batter, and the batter is going to go down to first base. What could interrupt the pitcher's rhythm more than that? So he basically took some bullshit excuse to justify his mistake. Okay? If you're a man, you're a woman, you make a mistake. In my book, you live up to that mistake and you say, that was my mistake, I shouldn't have done that. He didn't do that. He didn't live up to his mistake. He blamed it on not wanting to hurt the pitcher. You gotta be kidding me. It's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. So now you're Sanchez, the catcher, who's looking to Girardi as, probably looks up to him because he was a catcher, and kind of maybe looks at him as a role model. And now he says, okay, my skipper, who was a catcher, can't even take the blame for something he made a mistake about. That kind of thing can kill team chemistry. Because every player, if you're a baseball player, if you're a baseball fan, if you're a catcher, if you're a pitcher, you know what happened there. You know that Girardi made a mistake. Everybody knows it. Even the yes analysts, the Yankees network analysts, every one of them was on Girardi. Every single one of them. Okay? So we made the mistake. Okay, if he came up and lived up to it, you could probably say, okay, we'll live with that. The guy made a... But he tried to blow it off with some bullshit excuse. So to me, that's one of the most terrible things. And I was thinking about this. I've been a Yankee fan a long time, even in the days of George Steinbrenner. And I could tell you this right now: if George Steinbrenner was still the GM or the owner of that baseball team, if the Yankees lose this series, Girardi would have been gone. But he won't. He's going to get Cashman's going to give him a contract extension. And it's one of the worst managing decisions I think I've ever seen. It's up there in one of the worst. And it's even amplified because he didn't live up to it. So that said, they play tomorrow night in Cleveland at home. They've got to win 3 straight. They got to win 2 at home and 1 in Cleveland. And now that Sabathia has basically been their best pitcher. Okay? And wait, was it? Oh, you know what? I think I made a mistake there. Who pitched the game? Oh, Sonny. Was it Sonny Gray? Yeah, Sonny Gray pitched game 1. I was thinking of Severino in the wild card. Yeah, that's what it was. Sonny Gray was the one. Yeah, I'm sorry, I got that mixed up. It was Sonny Gray, who didn't pitch great either in game 1. But that game was a battle. We're not talking about game 1. It's game 2 that was the problem. And, that's the game, that decision, that issue, the hit by pitch / really hit the knob of his bat, as everybody could see on the replay. That's going to be, hey, thanks for the follow, man. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. I do appreciate that follow. Skywolf, thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate it. So, in any event, that's my rant about the Yankees. But let's hope that they can, pull things off. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. They got to win 3 in a row, 1 away. I don't know. I don't see it happening. But, I'm going to obviously be pulling for them. Let's see what happens. But there's some really great teams in the playoffs this year. Even if the Yankees don't make it, I'll still be watching it. I mean, Dodgers are good. Astros, Altuve had 3 home runs the other day in 1 game. Astros are really good. Cleveland's a good team, man. Boston, I don't know. We'll see. I don't think Boston's kind of looking pretty shitty. But in any event, I think it'll be a good playoff, and hopefully it'll be a good series. I don't see the Yankees getting there, unfortunately, this year. But maybe it's something for them to build on. We'll see. All right, so that's the Yankees. Now, let's get back to Skywolf. Yeah, so I appreciate you following, and hopefully you're still watching there. I am playing in VR. I'm using a add-on for X-Plane called FlyInsideXP. And what it does is it basically takes X-Plane and reprojects it into virtual reality. And the headset that I'm using for virtual reality, easy for me to say, virtual reality is the Oculus Rift. And that's what I'm using, and it looks awesome. If you're new to my my stream, check out my YouTube channel. I've got a couple of videos on VR flight simulation that you might want to take a look at. It explains a lot of things about it, and that might be helpful for you. I'm going to check my frame rates here. All right, 18, not great. I'm not sure why I'm getting crappy frame rates, but oh well. So let's see, where are we? Got 40 nautical miles, or 30 nautical miles to our next turn, which is Bands. It's 16 minutes away. So let's see. I think what I'm going to do is here, I might speed things up a little bit. You know, X-Plane's got this ability to turn on the jets a little. Just a little bit to speed things up. So let's. So what's the next thing I wanted to talk about? Oh, Flight Sim World. So, Flight Sim World, if you guys don't know, probably do know, is a flight sim by Dovetail Games that it's basically based on Microsoft Flight Simulator X platform. Okay, what they basically did is took that platform and sort of tried to modernize it. All right. Most people don't agree with what they did. There's a lot of FSW fans out there, and that's fine. You know, I'm not going to berate any flight sim. You like that flight sim, that's fine. It's not my favorite for a number of reasons that I'm not going to go into. But you know, I do own it, and I do try it from time to time. And I put mostly like optimization videos on, just so people can see how it's functioning. Now, it's fairly new. I think it was released about 6 months ago, something like that, maybe a little longer than that. It's had a couple of point releases, and they came out with a recent release a couple weeks ago, and I decided to do a frame rate test. And when I started to look at it, I said, wow, there's not much difference between graphics settings and frame rates. And what I mean by that is, when I was at I went from Ultra, which is everything on completely the max zone, and this is all in 1080p, and I went down to medium, and the frame rates were just about the same. I said, so let me take a look at this. So I basically went through it, and this is with a 1080 Ti and an i6700 CPU and all SSD system, okay, and 32 gig of memory. That's the system. And I did a video on it. You can check it out on my YouTube channel, where I did frame rate and CPU utilization and GPU utilization. I have MSI Afterburner running from ultra, high, medium, low, and min graphics settings. And when you take a look at it, there's really no difference in frame rate between low and ultra. So now when you go to min, you bump up the frame rates. In ultra, and this is all in the same area. It was in the New York area on the map, which has a lot of, some decent density. And I wanted to have that, okay? The frame rates were like 26, 27, 28, maybe just scratching 30 a couple of times, okay? Which is acceptable. I'm not saying it's not acceptable. That's acceptable, but especially in ultra, because you're basically maxing out the graphics, right? So then I moved down to high, one step down in graphics composition, and it was about the same. I said, okay, that's odd. I went down to medium, and it was about the same. I was like, wow, that's really strange. And then I went down to low, and it was about the same. I mean, it was definitely more in the low mid-20s than the high 20s, 30s, but still like 8 frames per second difference between like low and high and ultra. And it wasn't until I went down to minimum where I got into I think I got into the 40s. Okay. So I did the video, I put it up, and I really didn't notice that. And actually, one of the viewers noticed and commented on the video that one of the CPUs, and you could see them. Pardon me, in Afterburner, it breaks out all the virtual CPUs, and there's 8 virtual CPUs on a 6700. And CPU 2 was always pegged at 100%, and all of the other CPUs, the other 7, were like in the teens and 20s. Now, if you look at X-Plane when it's running, I'm not comparing X-Plane to FSW, but I'm just architecture-wise, I'm saying. When you look at X-Plane, the load on the CPU across all 8 CPUs is pretty well distributed. They're all like in in the high teens to 20%. Sometimes some fluctuate, but every CPU is cranking. FSW CPU2 is completely pegged, and the other CPUs are like in the teens. And the GPU is used like maybe 30%. You have to look at the video to see this, okay? So this guy points out, notice how CPU2 is always pegged. And I started thinking about it. And FSW, I don't know how Microsoft Flight Simulator worked, but FSW has a bottleneck issue. It basically pegs out one of the virtual CPUs, and because of that, because it can't offload that to other CPUs, the GPU is probably waiting for work to do because that other CPU is pegged at 100%. So again, I'm not a flight sim designer or developer, but I have developed software in my lifetime, and it seems to be me like a design flaw. Like, they have to do something about distributing the work across a multi-threaded CPU if they're going to get any optimization out of that flight simulator. Okay. In any event, some people were a little bit up in arms, a little upset about the video, and frankly, I'm sorry about that, but I'm just trying to show the optimization, because if you're going to spend, it's $25 to buy it, and not only that, now they're starting to charge you for some DLC. I think there's like a plane that you could buy, and they're starting to come up with some custom scenery, and so now the revenue stream is going to start cranking up. Okay, well, if you're going to start paying for it, you can't really call it a beta or a early access anymore. If you're going to start adding on to it, now it's a product. Okay, so what I'm saying is Dovetail Games should, instead of worrying about true weather and all that bullshit, okay, they should worry about optimizing the way the basic core of their flight simulator works. Okay, I know for a fact that Laminar Research is moving their X-Plane 11 towards Vulkan graphics engine. Vulkan graphic engine sometime in 2018. That's their goal. And that's how X-Plane and Laminar Research plans to get the frame rates up. Their goal is 45 frames per second everywhere in the sim. It's a lofty goal, but they're saying that when they get to Vulkan, off OpenGL into Vulkan, they'll be able to achieve that because I guess it's designed for true 64-bit or whatever the other technical reasons are. But I don't think FSW has plans to go to Vulkan. Maybe they do. I don't follow it that closely. So some of you guys, if you know, can maybe comment. But when I spent the hour or so looking at that study of frame rates and utilization, it really kind of opened my eyes to the fact that, I'm sorry guys, but I think there's design flaws in FSW. And I know that people have said that before, but I think that video proves it. So go back and check it out. I posted it, I think it was a week and a half ago. You can check it on my YouTube channel, Bambino Games, and let me know what you think. Comment on that video. Let me know what you think. I don't want to diss Dovetail. I know they're trying to build a business, and there are some nice things about FSW, but I gotta honestly tell you that I don't really view it as a real-world simulator. I'm sorry. Not because of the optimization, but because it doesn't have real-world navigation. Okay, it doesn't. Basically, you do these missions and you set up your flight plans using their GUI and all that. I don't want that in a flight sim. I want to be able to go into the GPS, enter coordinates like I'm flying in the real world. That's what X-Plane 11 allows you to do. Okay. FSW is, to me, on that side, it's game-ish. Okay, and you guys can hit me whatever you want. It's just my opinion. Okay, to me, a flight simulator, I want a flight simulator that's going to make me feel like I'm in a real plane. Something that I can pull up Flight Planner and I can enter in coordinates and I can enter in GPS and I can use it like I'm flying, like I would in the real world. Not have to go to a GUI and pick one point and an end point and all that BS. Because to me, that's like a game, and that's how Aerofly works too. It doesn't have the real world navigation, and that's what I think separates a flight simulation system from a flight simulator game, and that's that's just my belief. But anyway, check out that video. let me know what you think. Let me know if you think that's a flaw. If you're a designer, you've got more knowledge than I do about it. Let me know if my guess here, my estimate, my thought process is correct. If you got one bottlenecked thread at 100% and the other one's in the teens, if that could cause the GPU to be waiting for work to do. So, anyway, that's FSW. Hope you check out that video. I gotta get a drink of water here. Oh man. Yeah, for some reason I entered the flight plan in Flight Plan Go, but it's not displaying it. It's not displaying it on the screen for some reason. I'm not sure why. But in any event, that's another issue. So, yeah, look at that topology. That's pretty cool, man. Mountain right in front of me there. Is that correct? I don't know. I guess it's correct. Let's just see here. No, I'm not sure if it's really accurate, actually, because where's that airport? Is there an airport? There's a lake over there. Okay, I guess that's accurate. Is there a lake over here? Yeah, I guess it's accurate because I could see the lake, like this lake. Let me just point this out here. Where's my mouse? This lake here is over there, and this lake here is back there. So I guess we're good, and we're heading right towards that peak there. Pretty cool. Nice to have that. In any event, here I'm probably going to have to take it off autopilot here for a few minutes just to steer around this peak. "13 miles to our turn." I guess we're about, let me just pull up the flight plan here and we can see where we are. We're about 30 miles away, right? Oh no, this doesn't have a cumulative, does it? That sucks. Does it have a cumulative? No, it just tells us the leg. So we got 11 miles to the next leg. Would be nice to have a cumulative. Oh yeah, 35. There it is. There is 35 nautical miles to our L22. It's our destination. Sorry for not seeing that. Let's check outside the plane here a little bit. There's that beautiful SR22. Nice looking plane. What I love about this is if you zoom in here, you can see the MFD right there in the window. That's pretty cool. That's detail right there. Yeah, I think we're going to be okay here. I could always vector at the last one. I'm going to leave it on. Yeah, so don't kill me about the Flight Sim World, you Flight Sim World guys. Don't kill me about my my study. I'm doing it to help you guys be informed about what these companies are doing, right? Because they want your money, and believe me, Dovetail Games, it's going to be a DLC revenue model, right? $25 to get Flight Sim World, and then add on, just like FSW or FSX was, and by the time you're going to get done with it, it's going to cost you, a lot of money, right? So that's what the flight, Laminar does the same thing. It's, buy the basic and then, well, they don't have too many add-ons, but their third parties have add-ons. I don't know if they have licensing money from the third parties. If they're smart, they do. But yeah, I'm not feeling too good about this peak here. So what I'm going to do is just take it off autopilot for a few minutes, and we're going to cut the leg on this vector here. We'll try to fly level. So anyway, there is a video I saw today on YouTube. Laminar Research gave a product update at some museum, I forget, Royal Aviation Museum or something. I just saw part 1 of it. I didn't see part 2 yet, but they're talking about the release of 11.10, which they're planning soon, and what's going to be in it. And some of the things that I saw are some new aviation, or should say, physics updates. They're working on improving the physics. All that stuff is kind of beyond me a little bit, but to me, if it makes it more lifelike, then it's cool with me. Do your job, do a great job, guys, and I'll benefit from that. But one of the big updates in 11.10 is the new G1000 from Laminar Research, which is going to be in the Cessna C172, and I believe the Cirrus jet that they have in their hangar. Okay, so that's exciting. So you'll be able to fly a C172 with an all-glass cockpit, or the traditional analog cockpit, which is really cool. And I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but from looking at some of it, the G1000 looks pretty thorough, and I would imagine it would be. Now we're still going to have the 530, but the 1000 is going to be added to the arsenal, and it's going to be open to third-party developers to use in their planes. So that begs the question: a plane like this one that I'm flying here, now the guys at vFlyteAir have been trying to develop their own G1000 right there, right? But will they abandon that and move towards X-planes? I don't know. Probably, if X-planes is pretty well advanced, it might be a good idea. It's one less thing you have to worry about, and maybe you pay up a little bit of a license fee, and it might improve the sale of your planes. Not sure. But in any event, let me get my autopilot. Autopilot on.
Autopilot on.
That's pretty exciting. So, looking forward to 1.0. Now, so check that out on YouTube. I'm gonna have to, and then only part 1 of the talk was on there, so I'm looking for part 2, and I really haven't a chance to watch the whole thing. I'm gonna try to watch the whole thing later on today. But one of the things that I did see in there was that VR is not in 1.0. And in fact, they were saying at FlightSimCon that they had planned to have a beta release of VR in the fall, and now they're saying end of year, which I guess we all kind of expected. So that's unfortunate, because it would have been really nice to be playing with VR. But I think I have to go back and listen, but I think a beta may be out sooner. So it may be in December or some time frame, maybe November. I don't know. Maybe, I'm guessing we might get a beta of VR. And I don't normally run beta X-Plane, but I will run the beta VR version for sure, because that's what I do, and I want to show you guys what native VR is all about when it comes out. So, and I would like to contribute back to Laminar if there's any issues or whatever, and lend whatever information and feedback that I can to help them make it the best that it can be. So that seems to be what's going on with X-Plane 11 and 1.0. Again, I'm going to go back and watch the whole thing. If you guys might want to do the same thing, look on YouTube. It was the Royal Museum or something, but it's a Laminar Research talk on X-Plane 11.10. So anyway, some interesting news about that. Now we're coming up, we're 19 nautical miles away from Yucca Valley, and I want to take a look at my my map. Oops, just dropped my glasses, which I need to see my map. All right, let's say I want to look at the airport. Let's go here. I can see Yucca Valley. Where's Yucca Valley? Yucca Valley's right there. Okay. L22 is right 6, but I don't think I'm going to land 6. I think I'm going to go left. Let's look at airports. Back. KL2. Okay, let's just look at marks. Okay, we're going to do left traffic into 2-4. We'll do that. Okay. 2-4. Let's just see that. So 2-4 is going to run towards the west. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do left traffic into 2-4. So we'll enter on the left downwind and into 2-4. Let's do it that way. So here's what we'll do when we get back to center. Set heading bug to 240.
Heading bug already set to 240
okay,
degrees.
So we're going to be 240. So we're going to be looking for the downwind, and I'm going to basically we'll play like we're coming into a non-towered airport. We'll go into CTAF and let them know we're going to be coming in and making our landing. Do it the right way here. So take the speed off here. The speed up. I didn't get much speed, but. Yeah, so the other reason why I hadn't been streaming was because I was having major internet problems. I used cable modem. My modem was going down constantly, and I couldn't keep I had no idea why. And it turns out there's a couple things. I had to bury a new cable coming from the street curb to my house, and also they had to get a new modem, different brand of modem to make things work. So now, thankfully, everything has been much better, and I'm able to stream now without having any interruptions, which is good. So, in any event, all right. So, airport's at 3,300. We got 12 nautical miles. At 10, I'm going to take it off autopilot, and I don't see. Oh, let's you know what? There's L22. Cool. Let's go to 5, and then that's nice to have, because even if I didn't have the GPS, it would be able to tell me how far away I am. So when we get to, we're about 10. So we're gonna say Yucca Valley traffic, Cirrus 328 Tango Delta. We are 10 miles southwest of the airport. Be entering on the downwind for full stop landing runway 24, Yucca Valley. All right, now they know we're coming. Now they know we're coming. See if I can see it. We got 9 miles. Oh, I see it right there. Okay. All right, let's get our mixture in, and we're going to take it off autopilot here. Oh, you know what I need to do? I got to switch tanks. Forgot about that. That's the one thing I don't like about the SR20, that you have to worry about the tanks. All right, so we're just going. We're 8 nautical miles away. So that's why I like to have nearest airport on the inset there. So we're going to start our descent. So cool having that topographical there. Man, I love flying this plane. I know you don't make a lot of money in FS economy, but you know what? To me, it's about the fun too. So let's see if we can get a bead on our airport. I want to be at about 4,300. And we should be, right now we should be about perpendicular with it, or I should say parallel with it. Yucca Valley traffic, Cirrus 328 Tango Delta. We are 3 miles southwest of the airfield. We'll be entering on the left downwind for a full stop landing, runway 24, Yucca Valley. All right. 2 miles away. Start to slow up here a little bit. Got to get down to, I want to get down to 43. Two miles up there. All right, we should be about 1,000 feet now. Let's get our flaps to 1. See that nose come up. I don't like that about this plane. I guess I have to be a little slower when I put the flaps up. So where's my airfield? There we are, right there, right? Okay, we're about midfield right there. Okay, so we're going to want to slow down here. We're going to get our asses down here. Okay. Looking good. We'll fly out a little bit here and then make our left base. Okay. All is good. Yucca Valley traffic, Cirrus 328 Tango Delta, turning left base for runway 24, full stop, Yucca Valley. All right, did our left base turn. We don't want to decrease. We're at 83 knots right now, so we should be perpendicular now. There's our runway. Yucca Valley traffic, Cirrus 328 Tango Delta, turning final, runway 24, full stop, Yucca Valley. All right, here we go. We overshot a little bit, full flaps. I'll have to correct this here, but we got a nice little agile plane, so not a real problem. 86 knots, we want to slow that down a little bit. We are a little high. You hear that wind come. We're coming in fast here. That's okay. We're going to start to slow up now. All right, here we go. Flaps up. Brakes. And that is how we do that. Very nice. Welcome to Yucca Valley, ladies and gentlemen. Taking you back to your... And it's kind of a sky park here, this airport, I believe. Like there's residents that have airplanes parked behind their homes, which is kind of cool. Yucca Valley traffic, Cirrus 328 Tango Delta, clear runway 24, Yucca Valley. All right, we're good to go, baby. Find our place to park. See what kind of frame rates you're getting here. See, 22, a little bit better at Yucca Valley. Again, I have the high frame rate going here at on FlyInside, so I expect some optimization with the native VR stuff for sure. I'm gonna park right here. All right, set parking brake.
Brakes set.
Beautiful. All right, avionics off. Lights off. Okay. Engine off. Alternator off. Battery off. Throttle in. I don't know why that. Oh, the battery's not off yet. Boom. And we are good to go. All we need to do now is we need to finish our FSEconomy. Finish flight. Okay. And let me show you that. We didn't make a lot, but we'll take it. We made, let me see, where's my spectacles? All right, we made $2,100 flying these three people back from Van Nuys to L2, which is fine with me, and it was a nice flight. So puts us at 320, yeah, 342,000. Easy for me to say. And on our way to whatever my next purchase is going to be. So let's just see the beautiful C172 right there. Oh, I don't know what happened to my I missed the map there. Sorry, I guess the map went away. Sorry about that, guys. But in any event, I appreciate you guys watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and hit the like button if you like what you saw. Don't forget to subscribe to Bambino Games for more virtual reality flight in VR. Soon, hopefully with native VR, and probably by end of year, but it's currently in FlyInside, which does a nice job. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll be back soon. Take care.